in the Mallow Trading Company, Kenichi tries to sell sugar, but it turns out that sugar is exclusively sold by the government, so they can't trade it legally. Instead of sugar, Mallow likes the polished glass, which has become a trend in nobles. Later, after clearing and preparing the land in the forest, Kenichi buys a log house from Shangri-La for just 1.7 million yen, but then finds that it is a DIY kit, meaning that he has to assemble the whole house by himself. Having spent so much money, Kenichi has no choice but to get to work. With that said, days pass, amid which Mayuri and her friends come to help Kenichi build his house as a thanks for treating them. After the house is complete, Kenichi checks out of the inn, which saddens Azayela as he will not stay with her anymore. In the forest, Kenichi goes bike riding, but then gets attacked by some dog beastmen who intend to kill him. Luckily, however, he scares them off with his slingshot and fireworks. However, then notice a large injured cat hit with an arrow of dogs. At first, he buys some protection gear to treat the cat, but then finds that she doesn't even have a bit of stamina left to resist. Then he takes her home and begins her treatment. The next day, Mayuri finds out about it and becomes excited as the cat Kenichi saved is a bobcat, which is like a god to cat persons. Having said that, Mayuri also begins taking care of the bobcat until she heals. And because Kenichi has only a single bed, she sleeps on top of him every night. Eventually, Kenichi dreams of a mysterious woman and wakes up, only to find that the bobcat has recovered and wants to go out. After sending her back to the forest, Kenichi once again begins enjoying his slow life, but then realizes that must do something for water, as it is too troublesome to bring water from the river every day. Later, Primura visits him when he doesn't show up in the city for a while. But after seeing his home and bath, she gets impressed and ends up taking one herself that night. Then, Kenichi also shows her bathrobe and some nightgowns, all the while drawing a portrait of her just like he did with Azayela. Fortunately, this time, he bought one more bed and had Primura sleep on it to avoid any unforeseen event. Meanwhile, the bandit Shaga and his subordinate are using the slaves to their liking. But suddenly, one of them shows Shaga a job letter and a bag of money. In the city, Kenichi escorts Primura back, but is surprised to see that Mallow isn't mad at her or him for sleeping under the same roof. Instead of this, he ends up selling the bathrobes and sleeping wear to Mallow, except for the one that reveals too much skin. Though Primura wants it desperately, Mallow then reveals the existence of a person in the capital who has taught people about the double entry system, making Kenichi suspect that someone else from the modern world has arrived here. Regarding Primura's case, she begins coming to visit Kenichi on a daily basis and eventually also asks him to sell the revealing gown to her as she wants to seduce him. However, Kenichi instantly realizes that she has romantic feelings for him and also finds that Mallow doesn't mind it. Still, he puts this talk on hold. As such, Primura convinces him to at least let her sleep with him on the same bed. Having no choice, Kenichi agrees to her request, but they don't do anything beyond sleeping. The next day, just after Primura leaves, North Pole arrives there and reveals that he is on a quest to investigate a suspicious man who has begun living in the forest. Kenichi realizes what he is talking about. He asks him to keep his devices like solar panels and other things a secret from others, and in exchange, he provides him high-quality steel as hush money. However, North Pole thinks that it is unfair to Kenichi, so he gives him some information about a young mage in the Empire who has invented mayonnaise and recently killed a dragon with it, confirming Kenichi's suspicions that he is really someone from Japan.